Welcome friends, I am Rohit Koli from RIT Rajaram Nagar. Today we seeing various concrete structure, but during this structure, proper care and quality control is not maintained. Thus they require frequent maintenance. We prepare report on case study as a part of ISC 1. The case study on the repair and rehabilitation of G plus 3 residential apartment located near seashore, Tamil Nadu, India. uh, Short introduction about this. The deterioration of typical concrete structure starts from the time it is exposed to the element of nature. Preliminary under high humidity, high temperature condition and variation in temperature, thus certain part of structure including roofs and structural elements directly exposed to weather condition are more susceptible to deterioration. The determination of materials such as concrete and reinforcement reduce the strength of the structural members. Corrosion of embedded steel is the prime cause of damage to the reinforced concrete structure. It progresses with slow deterioration process and if neglected or not attended in time may spread over a large area and cause extensive disintegration and deterioration of the structural element. It may even lead to catastrophic structural failure in the absence of timely remedial measures. Various causes which create a conducive condition to accelerate progress rate of corrosion are inadequate cover to reinforcement. Use of inadequate grade of concrete for the purpose, use of rusted steel, workmanship, work quality, compaction, thus leaving concrete porous, poor, unsuitable ingredients, both coarse and fine aggregate. A case study was carried out in three number of G plus 8 multi-story building damaged due to the Bhuj earthquake 2001 and rehabilitation of the same was carried out during 2003 and discussed about the repair and rehabilitation methods adopted in the building. In this paper, we have discussed the repair and rehabilitation work carried out in a G plus 3 residential building located very close to seashore. Building is severely damaged due to salt water and chloride attacks. Suffer with corrosion of reinforcement, spilling of concrete in floor and roof slab, major crack at staircase, landing and crack in RCC and masonry structure. Repair strategy involved removal of delaminated concrete cover, anti-corrosive coating, polymer modified mortar, injection of epoxy grout for the repair of beam column junction and masonry gag, self-sacrificial anode to prevent corrosion of reinforcement, micro concrete for slab and column, additional reinforcement with anti-corrosion coating, glass fiber wrapping for column to increase ductility and polymer, modified mortar for repair of RCC and masonry cracks. Next point, preliminary investigation is explained by Ruchiraj Kambli.
In this case study, preliminary inspection is done. The five basic steps are affected for preliminary inspection. First is climate of surrounding. Second is location of structure. Third is building type and changes in uses. Fourth, age of building. And five is physical inspection of building component. In this case study, preliminary investigation is about the detailed visual observation was made on all the columns, beams and slab of the above said location, and the following observation where is made. Excessive swelling was noticed in few of the columns and beams in the ground floor is shown in figure 1a. Second, excessive swelling was noticed in all the staircase landing slab portion. See is also figure in 1b. Third is in many places the slab portion was dampness, seen figure 1c. Fourth, corrosion terrace in figure number 1d. 5 is crack were noticed at concrete and bricks work joint, figure number 1e. And last is major crack seen in machinery wall in figure 1f. The next step is the detailed investigation is explained by Nikhil Mani.
After preliminary investigation, the next step in order to carry out the repair and rehabilitation of structure is the detailed investigation. In case of the detailed investigation, the non-destructive testing is carried out at the site. There are different methods used for non-destructive testing, like ultrasonic pulse velocity test, rebound hammer test, core sampling and testing, carbonation level, half cell potential survey, and chloride content in a concrete sample. Ultrasonic and remote hammer tests were carried out to assess the condition of the concrete in the column, beam, and slab at the various locations. Test for chloride and carbonation was carried out for verifying the present status of the covered concrete. Half cell potential survey was carried out to identify the extent and the severity of the corrosion activity. Extraction of the core sampling and testing of compressive strength was carried out to assess the homogeneity and actual in situ strength of the concrete. In case of the ultrasonic pulse velocity test, this test was carried out at various points of the beams and columns to assess the quality of the concrete, integrity of concrete, and honeycombing. To carry out the test, surface of the selected column, beam, and slab location were marked with grid lines at the regular spacings. The area around the grid point was screened with grease so that the smooth plain concrete surface was available for the holding and transducer. The transit time for the ultrasonic pulse velocity was read from the digital indicator. It was found from the result of ultrasonic pulse velocity test that was value in the slab portion of the ground floor and the first floor are very low. The ultrasonic pulse velocity readings for a beam varies between 3.99 maximum to 3.37 minimum and the average of 3.17, which falls with the category of satisfactory to good. For slab, this value is fall between 4.11 to the 3.2 with average of 3.74, which is also fall with the category with the satisfactory to the good. The next method of the non-destructive testing is rebound hammer test. The rebound hammer test was carried out to measure the quality of near surface concrete. The hammer was used only to compare the quality of concrete in the different location of the concrete member. The rebound hammer test was carried out on all the locations where the ultrasonic pulse velocity test was conducted, and also at the additional points in between for the selected locations of the column, beam, and slabs. All the locations were prepared and cleaned to ensure complete removal of latex and the loose particles. Next method is a concrete core sampling and testing. Core sampling test is the most appropriate method to assess the strength of in situ reinforced concrete constructions. Concrete core sample of diameter 77 mm and the sufficient length were extracted using an electrically operated core drilling machine and a diamond core drilling bits from different members of the structure to assess the quality strength of in situ concrete. The locations were chosen so that they were representative of good concrete as well as badly affected portion. The extracted core samples were subjected to compressive strength test after the necessary trimming and capping. Another non-destructive testing which can be carried out during the repair and rehabilitation structure is a carbonation test on a concrete core sample. When any concrete structure is exposed to the atmosphere, the surface of the concrete comes into contact with the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. The calcium present in the concrete will react with the carbon dioxide, forming a calcium carbonate, resulting in reduction of the alkalinity in concrete. Whenever the concrete is dense and impervious to atmospheric agents, carbonation will restrict it to the surface only. However, if the concrete is pervious and a carbonation reaction continue inward and reach the concrete surrounding the rebar, thus reducing the alkalinity of the concrete and causing indentation of the corrosion. Carbonation test was conducted immediately on all the core samples that were extracted from the column, beam, and slab. The test was conducted using the phenolphthalein indicator in dilute alcohol. The uncarbonated portion will turn pink while the carbonated portion remain colorless. The major depth of the change in the color indicates the carbonation level of the concrete. This is a chemical based test used in the concrete. As the site is on the seashore, the chloride determination test is important test. Chloride determination test was carried out on a concrete powder sample that were extracted from the tested cores. The presence of the higher amount of the chloride in a concrete surrounding the reinforcement will result in the corrosion of rebar. The quantity of the chloride in the concrete is determined by chemical analysis and is expressed in the term of the weight of the concrete. Now, from the observation of all the NDT tests, we can conclude that during the visual examination, it was observed that the concrete cover portion was spalled very badly, and also cracks were noticed in the same area where the treatment was already carried out. It was also noticed that rebars were not treated with a suitable system to take care of the corrosion, since no traces of such system was noticed. Corrosion cannot be stopped, and with the present chloride level, immediate care must be taken to avoid the rebar corrosion. Also, there is no proven cost-effective method to remove the chloride from the core concrete. Hence, repair need to be done with a sacrificial anode.
Repair and rehabilitation methodology. The quality of concrete in most of the columns and beams are found to be satisfactory to good as the UPV values are reasonable. However, the amount of chlorides is quite considerable. Many of the columns and beams which have undergone damage due to corrosion are to be strengthened to regain their original load carrying capacity. Before taking up the strengthening procedure, proper supporting scheme has to be provided to prevent damage of the building by affecting the transfer of a load from the column to the temporary supports. This is essential to ensure safety aspects during the rehabilitation. It may be noted that before rehabilitating the RC beams, RC columns in which the beams are spanning have to be suitable strengthened from the point of view of ensuring safety. First, preparing of the surface at the places where the concrete cover had already spalled loose concrete was removed 25 cm more than the length of a spall. For the other areas, hammer sounding method was used to locate the delaminated concrete and marketed with paint. The beam and slab portions were supported by with props before the removal of a damaged concrete. The surface to which polymer modified concrete has to be applied was cleaned up all the materials by means of wire brush. All the loose particles were removed by washing with water under pressure, reinforcing cleaning and anti-corrosive coating. All the concrete sticking to the rebar was removed by hammering and manual chipping. Rust remove coating was applied on the reinforcement steel bars and care was taken that backside of the bars also get coated. It was allowed to act for 24 hours. Wire brush were used to remove the rust from the steel bars, followed by the washing with water jet for the complete removal of rust. Anti-corrosive zinc primer coating was applied completely surrounding the periphery of a reinforcing steel and allowed it to dry for 4 hours. Application of bonding coat to substrate. All the concrete surface were thoroughly inspected and made free from oil, dust, and dirt. The surface was well saturated with water and after natural drying, bonding agent of the cement and acrylic, the polymer in ratio of acid by volume was prepared to lump free creamy consistency. The bonding slurry was applied into surface of the parent body using steep brush and allowed it to dry. A second coat was applied at a right angle to the first coat and ensured complete coverage and no pinholes are visible. Care was taken to apply cement based polymer concrete as soon as the possible after application of a bonding coat. Application of a polymer modified mortar. The polymer modified mortar was prepared as such that it has minimum compressive strength 25 meganewton per meter square. The portion of a cement and sand acrylic polymer by weighing was 50 kg as to 150 kg as to 20 to 25% of a cement content. The water cement ratio was kept 0.4 by weight. The masonry surface with polymer modified mortar after the application of a polymer modified mortar and the proper drying of a surface curing compound was sprayed on the concrete surface. Concrete surface must be clean and dry with all the stains, oils, grease, dust and dirt removed prior to the application of a curing compound. The concrete surface was cleaned with dredges. Rehabilitation of columns. Place suitable supporting system in position. The support should be close to column as possible from column where maximum shear present, and they should be designed to withstand the floor loading coming on a column and shall placed firm ground without any settlement.
Thank you.